And welcome everybody to the Drop Zone with your host, Big Tom Tony and Dope as Jeff. And so it would have been Patrick's debut, but his daughter had a rescheduled softball game for today, so he wasn't able to join us. But we want to say, we can't wait to have you on, Patrick, next week. It'll be a great pleasure to have you on finally, joining the team. So, other than that, how you doing, buddy?
Been alright, as I was just saying, I got sunburnt, so my shoulders are very irritated and itchy already. As you said, thank God I don't live in Florida, or I would be pretty red right now. But,
Pretty much.
that's what I get for going out and playing basketball. But, yeah, I was going to say, Patrick, we are very excited. I mean, it should have happened already, but, unforeseen circumstances with my family happened, and then it was Mother's Day last week, so we took the week off to celebrate all the mothers out there. But we are excited to have
that. We did
that one.
Like I said, first we believe family comes first, so that would never, overtake anything. Like you said, 2 weeks before that, you had your situation with your sister. Family always comes first. That's our motto, and that's what we believe in. All right, so you ready to get this show started?
Yes, I am.
All right, so I was trying to avoid this topic for the longest time, but it constantly keeps people up my fucking news feed. Every social media I open up that I own, and it's the Jake Paul Mike Tyson fight that's going to happen July 20th. Now, I don't know what Jake Paul was thinking. I don't think he was thinking at all. I personally think he was just doing it just to get clout. And now that it's actually going through, there's been reports that supposedly the fight's been canceled. There's nothing that's 100% on that yet, so it's hard to tell if that's true or not. We do have some people that's constantly saying, "Oh, Jake Paul's going to kill Mike Tyson because Mike Tyson's 57 years old." Yeah, about that. If you guys haven't seen Mike Tyson's training video, you might want to go and look at him. He doesn't look like a 57-year-old man. He looks like he's a 30-year-old man with in that training video. And Jake Paul is taking it all lightly, dancing while he's training. Yeah, he's going to annihilate Jake Paul. How do you feel about this one?
Ever since it was talked about, I was like, I already have not liked Jake Paul for a very long time. I didn't like Logan, his brother either, but that's changed with the Prime drink. I love that drink. It's a very good drink.
That it is. I will agree with that.
Prime is so good. I don't care what anything is being said about it. It's so good. I can't drink the energy drinks, but I'll have that regular Prime anytime. And I think what Logan Paul's doing in the WWE is also very, very good. His charisma that he brings to that brand is amazing, and he's a great performer, and he's very athletic. He's doing a lot of stuff that I didn't expect to see him do in the WWE. So that's why I like Logan. Jake, like you said, he's trying to do anything to keep his name relevant. That'd be the only reason why I would think he would decide to fight Mike Tyson.
Which is stupid by itself.
Mm-hmm. To fight Mike Tyson and just, again, to keep his name relevant and to keep money in his pockets, even though he's made enough money in his career on YouTube and everything else. It's just stupid. I mean, I wouldn't fight Mike Tyson for, I would do it for a certain amount of money, but he could give me some training first. But yeah, Mike Tyson looks nothing like a 57-year-old man that you would think he would. So this is just stupid on all accounts, and I kind of hope I kind of hope it does happen, so that Mike Tyson can really kick Jake Paul's ass. I really want to see that.
And to make it, for those who don't know, the whole thing started because Jake Paul stupidly made a comment about Mike Tyson's deceased daughter. Now, I mean, to me, that's crossing the line. That is going way too far. I mean, to bring up a person's family, the situation is one thing, but to bring a person's deceased family member into it, yeah, that's beyond too much. That is over the line and unacceptable. And I got a feeling Jake Paul might not even make it out of the first round. He'll be lucky if he survives the first round.
Yeah, I don't think Tyson will let him really survive, because I think that comment is in Mike Tyson's head all the time. It's like he wants to get his hands on Jake Paul, and once he does, I don't think it'll be a good end result for Jake at all.
I don't think it's going to be a good result either. It's going to be a nightmare. And if Jake Paul somehow manages to survive this fight, I'll be shocked. And if he does survive, he ain't going to be the same. That's for sure.
No.
That's damn sure for sure. Because one of those shots that hit ribs from Tyson, yeah, I mean, yeah, I'd rather fight a gorilla than fight Tyson.
Basically, his one at this point, like, oh my god, like, he hasn't aged, like his face has, but like he's still in the shape of like he was 30. Like, it's incredible.
And what people don't realize is, even though Mike Tyson hasn't fought in a real actual fight in 20 years, 15 maybe. He's still that boxer. That's the last thing that's going to go as far as his skill set. He's always going to have that boxer mentality. And for Jake Paul, this is more like a hobby for him, because, I mean, he's only had, a handful of fights, maybe 10, 11. And he hasn't knocked out any real fighter except non-fighters.
Yeah, like he knocked out Nate Robinson.
An NBA basketball player that's 5'8".
Mm-hmm. Like, I mean, he hasn't fought anyone credible.
I mean, the only he fought credible was Tyson Fury, and Tyson Fury, I believe, whipped his ass.
Mm-hmm. So it's like, yeah, you're going to beat people who you're supposed to beat, but when you actually face a fighter...
He's fought retired MMA fighters. They're combat sports, but they're not really boxers. Hey, Brian. Yeah, it's good for us to be back finally again. This month and last one was kind of a challenge for us. Actually, the whole 2024 was. But we're back to our normal scheduled programs. But yeah, like I said, Jake Paul is just, I don't know what he's thinking.
He's not. All he sees is money signs in his eyes. That's all he sees.
Yeah, but most of that money he's going to be spending fucking for hospital bills.
I mean, I guess we'll see on July 20th, if it still happens. But
yeah, that's the thing. Like I said, there's reports that the fight was supposed to be canceled because I guess they had supposedly had a sparring session, Tyson and Jake Paul, and Tyson hit him in his ribs so hard that he couldn't breathe. It's hard. Most of it is hard to tell if it's true because there's no video footage of it.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, it's just probably people trying to gas people out of seeing Tyson really destroy him. But I don't. I'm waiting for it.
Yeah, I think a lot of America is thinking Tyson is going to whoop Jake Paul's ass, regardless. Because, like I just said, in a fighter's mentality, you cannot say what Jake Paul said about Mike Tyson's deceased daughter. You like that's crossing the line. You can't say that. And again, that's just replaying in Tyson's head over and over and over and over again. So as soon as he sees Jake, it's over. Like it that comment is then in his head the entire fight.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't have anything else on that.
I don't either. Just Mike Tyson, please whoop his ass, please. Well, I mean, it's not for another like few months. It'll be 2 months.
We got about 8 weeks to go.
Mm-hmm. But hopefully nothing falls through and that fight does happen and Mike Tyson kicks him or fucking hits some sense into Jake Paul.
I mean, the one funny thing I did catch, and it's been aired on TikTok, non-stop, is this one girl. She's like maybe 23, 20. She's not much more older than you. And she's like, is anybody going to say anything on how Jake Paul is going to beat a 57-year-old man to death? And it's funny because all the distinct clips are like, you better go and watch some of Tyson's fights, watch his training video. He's not a 57-year-old. He might be 57-year-old at age.
Mm-hmm.
But he's the way he's training. He's not a 57-year-old man.
No.
He's like a 30-year-old man the way he's training right now.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's gonna be. I mean, it's gonna be hilarious for me to watch because I'm gonna laugh my ass off. But I'm gonna feel sorry for Jake Paul.
I won't. He's asked for it.
I mean, yeah, he asked for it, but I'm still gonna feel sorry for him. The beating he's gonna take, no human being should take a beating that he's gonna take.
Yeah.
So, all right, moving on to our next topic, the NBA playoffs. This has been a very interesting playoff this year.
It has. We haven't gone live in a long time. So, I mean, it's been a few weeks.
Been about 2 weeks.
2-3 weeks.
Yeah.
Just to recap, everyone, in the first round, Boston beat Miami 4-1. The Knicks beat Philly 4-2. Indiana beat Milwaukee 4-2. Cleveland beat Orlando 4-3. That series is very interesting, just like me and you predicted. We predicted that game would go to 7 and anyone could take it. So we were right about that. OKC swept the Pelicans 4-0. Denver beat Los Angeles 4-1. Minnesota beat Phoenix 4-0, which is very, very surprising in that series that they swept them. I thought it was going to go 6. And then Dallas beat the Clippers 4-2. That was just a quick little recap of the first round because the second round has been even more interesting than that first round.
The comment on some of the games in the first round. The Dallas and Clippers game, I was expecting a lot more from the Clippers considering the star power they had on the Clippers. And once again, it goes to show that any team that has fucking the beard, James Harden, isn't going to go anywhere. It's not winning the championship.
No, even with Kawhi out, that should be Harden's initiative to step up, and he didn't step up.
So I mean, yeah, he's a great scorer, but he's an overrated player.
I want to ask you about the Phoenix Suns. Is this a bigger disappointment than the Nets' big three?
I'm gonna say it's probably about the same. Because with the Nets' big three, they never really got the chance to actually play together majority of the season, even in the playoffs. With the Suns' victory, they were together in the playoffs, and it's just I felt that once the British came in for Phoenix, it was heavily out. It was heavily outgunned. They had no bench to compete, and you at least need a bench to at least keep you somewhat in the game until you bring your starters back in. And the Suns didn't have that. And of course, the head coach Frank Vogel had to take the hit for it, which I don't think is fair. I think it's complete bullshit.
Yeah, like we could talk about that now too, because that isn't the NBA news that has happened in the past 2 weeks.
Yeah, so I mean, Vogel got fired, Darvin Ham got fired, which I think is bullshit. All these coaches that are getting fired that have these good teams, well, supposedly good teams, I don't see how they could blame the coach for it. The coach are not the ones on the court that has to execute. With Darvin Ham, I mean, his team was, it was battered around a lot, but that team was ripped apart by LeBron James. When he made the trade to get Russell Westbrook, he traded away all their assets and key players just to use Russell Westbrook as the fall guy. And I know how you feel about LeBron, and I'm the same way. I mean, he's a great player, but he doesn't take accountability for nothing. With the Suns, they just need to blow that team up and start all over.
That was my next question. Do they get rid of this big three after only one season? Because they are owed $150 million, those three in next year.
The problem, I want to say yes, but the problem is that money needs to go to building a bench. They have no bench. And they're just like the Lakers, shipped away, draft picks and stuff to get KD and to get Bills. And now you really don't have a way to build a future unless you find lucky hitting talent in the free agency. So, as far as blowing that up, personally, I think they should blow it up, but I don't see it happening because of the fact that you said how much is owed to all three of them. So, yeah, I really can't. I think they need to, but I don't see it happening.
So Will, I don't even know, but he's a Suns fan, so that's why that is very funny because he was on the Suns a lot better than some other coaches. But I'm going to answer my first question. I think it is a bigger disappointment because they got swept. If they didn't get swept, I would say no. But the way they got swept, and those three on the court at the same time, Beal, Booker, and Durant, were the worst plus-minus in the past, I don't know how many postseasons, out of a trio on the court together. And you're owing them $150 million next year.
Yeah, good point there.
So that'll also answer, that they need to blow it up. I don't know if they can financially. So they have to figure out a way to get bench players. I like Bobo. I think he has a great potential, but they need to play him more. Eric Gordon, he's old. I don't know what they expect from him, really. Like, it's Eric Gordon.
He's like in his 18th season in the league or something like that?
Like, he's not going to carry your bench unit anymore. Drew Eubanks, he's a good backup big. That's almost all I can name. Because and the other big part about the Suns, it was poor roster construction, so that's why I really don't like that they got rid of Vogel, because that's not his fault. The
No, it's
roster
not.
construction is not his fault. The fact they didn't have a true point guard, a true starting point guard, because Beal is not a point guard, and Devin Booker is not a point guard.
No, they're both two guards.
Mm-hmm. So that's poor roster construction. That's not a Frank Vogel. And the coach is just the easiest out in every situation, which pisses me off.
Let me ask you a quick question. Do you feel that the GM should have been the one that got fired instead of the head coach?
Yeah. Because it's their roster construction. Frank Vogel has some input on that roster construction, but the final say comes from the GM or the owner or whoever else. It's not really Frank Vogel's say on who they trade for, who they go and get. It's not his fault. Yes, there's on-court adjustments that he could have made, most definitely, but he can only do so much with that roster that he was given.
I agree. And there's a lot of things where, I mean, they need to really figure out if they want to build that team around just Devin Booker and make him the star, or the only thing I was thinking is try to trade them, but you're not going to get much value from any of them right now.
No, again, it's a big hit on every team's salary cap. It's a huge hit. All of them are owed $50 million next year. Every single one of them. So we'll see in that. Again, like you said, Darvin Ham, he shouldn't have gotten fired either, but he did. He made the Western Conference Finals last year, lost to the what would have been the NBA champs in the Nuggets, and they lost to the Nuggets again this year, now in the first round. So the only team that's beaten the Lakers is the Nuggets in the past two postseasons. And he's gone. That is bullshit beyond belief. And just one little bit of NBA news and a little bit from the first round. I don't know if you saw this or heard about it, but Patrick Beverley, at the end of Game 6, forcefully threw a ball at a fan twice.
Oh yeah, I saw the clips of that.
Yeah, he threw the ball first, and it hit a girl in the head. Then he asked for one of the fans to throw it back, and they did, and he threw it back at them again. And it doesn't stop there. In the locker room of the final press conference there, or the interview, he had an inappropriate interview with a reporter where he wouldn't answer any of her questions if he wasn't subscribed to his podcast on YouTube. And she kept trying to ask him, and he put his hand on her microphone and pushed it down. And for that, he was given a 4-game suspension for next year.
Yeah, I'll be surprised if he's actually on a team next year. I'm not sure if he's still on the contract. I think he might have 1 year left on his contract. But I'll be shocked if he's on the team.
Because who would want him after reacting like that?
Because he's nothing but a distraction. He used to be a great defensive player, and now he's turning into a complete distraction.
Because he threw a temper tantrum because they lost. And all the fans said was Cancun on 3. 1, 2, 3, Cancun.
Which, I mean...
That's nothing offensive.
No.
Fans have said way worse
And I know there's a fine line with fans that, even though they pay their tickets, they feel some fans feel entitled to be able to say what they want and stuff like that. But something like saying 1, 2, 3 Cancun, I mean, that's something that was created on NBA TNT with the NBA crew, with Charles Barkley, King Smith, and them. There's one who created that 1, 2, 3 Cancun.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, if you're watching the pregame show and postgame shows, and they're saying it, now as a fan, okay, you're at the game and you see a team get eliminated, of course you're going to yell 1, 2, 3 Cancun. Or as Becky clearly put it for the New Orleans Pelicans, Galveston, Texas, because they didn't deserve to go to Cancun. Because apparently, I mean, that's the one game series that I didn't watch. One of the Pelicans, and apparently, I guess they felt everybody felt the Pelicans just gave up. It didn't feel to go to Cancun, but yeah, I mean, a fan saying 1, 2, 3 Cancun, there's no need to hurl a ball at the person.
Not once, but twice. Because he missed on the first one, and that's when he hit the girl in the head. So then he was like, "Here, let me have the ball back," and then boom, he threw it and hit the guy. Then he's like, "Oh, I hate you this time." And you know that you're wrong when Giannis turns around and he's like, "I'm sorry." Giannis took the guy's hand and said, "I'm sorry."
So yeah, I'm pretty sure he's not going to be in the Bucks after this year anyway.
No.
I'm sure the Giannis is going to make sure to get rid of him.
Mm-hmm. And I mean,
one that makes the organization look bad.
Yeah, and it just adds to why I don't like him. He's one of my three least favorite NBA players. It's LeBron, him, and then James Harden. I think everyone knows that first one.
Yeah.
I don't need help in explaining that one, but yeah. This Pat Bev, you're not even that good of a player anymore. You never really had an offensive game to begin with. You weren't only known for your defense. Now that you're getting older, and these younger guys are getting a lot better and better and better, you're not as good anymore. All right, now on to round 2. Boston has had the easiest road to the finals, I think, or East Conference Finals I've seen in a very long time. They've gotten to play the bench units of the first two opponents that they played, the Miami Heat, who, as you all know, playing out Jimmy Butler and Terry Rozier. And now they got to play the Cleveland Cavaliers. They won game 1, 95 to 120. That was easy. Cleveland won game 2, 118 to 94. Then the Boston won the rest because Mitchell did not play in game 4, and then in game 5, the Cavs were without Mitchell, Garrett Allen, Karis LeVert, and I think someone else. So Celtics fans, congrats! You guys made it to the East Conference Finals. You should have. But I'm telling you, if these two other teams were healthy, I don't know. It would be a lot more difficult.
Yeah. I told you the Miami series with them that if Miami could still win, they might have a slim chance. And Miami did still. I mean, they beyond stole one. They just flat out just held them up. Like I said, with the Miami team, which I know is your team, that team always scares me, especially comes playoff time, because you don't know what's going to come out of them. I mean, if they had Jimmy Butler, I mean, I still think they would have lost.
Yeah.
But it would have gone at least 6 or 7 games.
Yeah. I said that to a lot of other people. If we had Jimmy, we still would have lost because that Celtics team is so damn good. But it would have been a closer series.
And with the Cleveland series, I mean, I still think they would have beat them regardless, even if Donovan Mitchell was playing or not. Cleveland's really not that good. They're a decent team. They got lucky because they beat an inexperienced Orlando Magic team that took them 7 games. So imagine if that Magic team had experience, then Cleveland wouldn't have made it out of the first round. So them Boston beating Cleveland, that was no big deal to me. That was what we expected. I was expecting actually a sweep.
But again, in a game 2, they just let that guard down and they.
Yeah, it looks like Boston has an issue with game 2s.
Yeah, and at home, too. You know, they don't like to win at home in the playoffs for some reason.
Yeah, it's weird.
But, you know, I'll give them credit. Yes, they beat who they needed to beat, but people are going to look at this run to the next conference finals and be like, there's nothing impressive what they've done. I understand they're just playing who they're set up to play, but there's a difference of like playing against a fully healthy Miami Heat team and what they had to play against. Because we saw what happened when they were fully healthy last year.
Yeah.
So, but and Tatum has not even looked good in these playoffs either. He has not looked good. So
no, he hasn't.
I'll see how he plays in the conference finals, but he has not looked good. And Porzingis, he's projected to make a return in game 3 or 4 of that series. And unfortunately for you, the Knicks will not be making their way onto the Eastern Conference Finals because the game that just ended probably about an hour ago, a little bit over an hour and a half ago, they lost game 7.
Yeah, the injuries finally caught up to us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which, as a Knicks fan, that's the easiest way to make an excuse. But to be honest with you, with all the injuries we should have had, we shouldn't have gotten that far. I mean, you lose Randall early in the season, and Mitchell Robinson for the majority of the season. And to put everything on basically Jalen Brunson's shoulders. And I mean, I'm glad Josh Hart stepped up. DiVincenzo stepped up. Players that nobody expected to step up actually stepped up and played well, which is what kept the Knicks floating. But I mean, at the very end, injuries just basically is what came down to it. Because then we end up losing Brunson in the game with a fractured hand. Josh Hart had the oblique strain, and you could tell he wasn't his normal self. OG gave it a shot, and yeah, he could barely walk. He had no movement whatsoever. Hartenstein was banged up and he was hurting. DiVincenzo, I mean, the show he put on today, I mean, was incredible. Even he was banged up. I don't know why Thibodeau didn't play Alex Burks a lot more in the series, because he did everything he could as well to try to keep the Knicks in the game. In the end, it was just, I mean, I'm not making it sound like an excuse, but the injuries is what, in the end, got us.
That is true.
Yes.
Yes. They gave a massive ovation to Hart when he fouled out. DiVincenzo, Hartenstein, Achua also got one as well. Anyone that put up a lot of minutes in this game got a huge standing ovation.
Which was well deserved because, like I said, that team you lost Randall for the season. Mitchell Robinson was out for majority of the season when he didn't come back, and then he's out again for the rest of the playoffs. And Bronson was banged up already through the series. And for the way that team battled and kept battling, I mean, they were basically undefeated at home until Game 7.
Mm-hmm.
And you can just tell it just took a toll on them. I mean, their bodies were just. And I'm hoping. I mean, siblings they do accept the contract extension, which I believe they offered him. If he does accept it, I hope he realizes that the way he has the Knicks practice and stuff, maybe he should change him a little. That way, come playoff time next year, they're not so beat up and worn down. His rotation throughout the season, regular season, should be at least a 9-10 man bench instead of the 7 and 8 that he was playing. And with Josh Hart, I mean, that man played almost every minute and every game until I think it was Game 4 when he finally got a break.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
yeah, he sat for the first time all series in Game 4.
And that wasn't even that long of a sit.
No.
So, I mean, he'll be able to learn how to balance out his practices and stuff with the team so that, it produces less injuries.
I'm glad that you said that.
What was that?
I'm glad that you said that. Because I was going to say the same thing. I know that the injuries did catch up. But my issue is with how your roster was constructed. Because you can't expect, I don't like that Tibbs had Randall in the game against the Heat late in that game when you guys kind of had it in control. There was no need for him to be in the game. He got injured. But that injury could have been avoided.
Exactly.
But when you guys don't have really a bench to rely on, Tibbs is going to unfortunately have to play these guys huge minutes. Hart in the playoffs averaged 42.6 minutes a game. That is insane.
The funny thing is, the Knicks actually do have a bench.
Tibbs just doesn't use it.
That's the thing. I mean, we have Hartenstein, who was a huge replacement for Robinson. He's a rebounding machine. You got Pika Achua. He might be young, but again, he's a great defender. You got McBride. You got
who should have played a lot more in the postseason.
Exactly.
5 games in the postseason.
Yeah, he didn't play until the 7th game of the postseason.
I don't understand. He's 31 years old and he has experience in the playoffs. Why do you not play him?
Exactly.
Jake Milton is on your team. He has playoff experience with the Sixers. He's younger, but yes, he has experience. Just give Hart, Brunson, DiVincenzo a little bit of rest. Just sit them down for 2, 3, 4 minutes. Set them back in. There's no need to have them out there for that long, and for you then to not expect them to get injured.
And then to keep them in blowout games is even stupider.
It's
If the game is in hand, take them out.
There's no point. That's why I put some blame on Tibbs, because there's no need to have them play as much as they were. You have reliable pieces on the bench to put in the game for 2, 3, 4 minutes at a time in each quarter to sustain a little bit of offense. As we saw Alex first today stepped up in a huge way, as you said. It was phenomenal today off the bench. He can score whenever he is needed. Shake Milne, he can do the same thing. Achua, like you said, I feel like Jericho Sims, even though he's young, should have gotten at least some playing time with that injury to Mitchell Robinson.
Exactly.
But Ride, he should have. I mean, he tried his hardest in this game. I know that he's young, but he's a very good defender. If he can develop a consistent three-point shot, he'll be a great asset off your bench. There's pieces on your bench to use, but for some reason, Tibbs did not use them, and I don't understand it. I don't know if he even has a reason. He just didn't use them. But
with Tibbs, the issue with Tibbs is he lacks the trust in younger players, which to some degree I can understand. But at the same time, if you let them play, they will develop the talent and what they need. Or you have to put them in. That was the problem with Obi Toppin. That's why he got traded, because Tibbs was adamant that he needed to keep bringing the game more because Toppin was young and he felt that he couldn't handle situations. And see how that came back to bite us in the ass. Games 6 and 7.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, he needs to, have more faith in the younger players. The younger players, they're going to make mistakes, but that's how they also learn.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I will say injuries got you in the end, but I put the blame more on Tibbs to not have them play as much, because then you're expecting them to get injured. The human body can only do so much. We're not superheroes. They are not superheroes who could just play 40 minutes and then in a night and a half or whatever, just be fully rested and ready to go and do it again. The human body doesn't work like that.
Just like I feel the Josh Hart oblique injury could have been avoided if he had more time to rest.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just sit down for 2, 3, 4 minutes at a time. Just sit down.
I mean, the Jalen Brooks foot situation,
mm-hmm.
that can happen at any time.
Yeah, like that, I can't.
I'm
not mad at that one. I'm not mad at that because that was in the process of the game.
Same thing with the fractured hand.
Mm-hmm. And the OG injury could have happened at any time as well. So
exactly.
There's some that could have been avoided. Like I said, with the Randall,
yep.
And the Hart, if he wasn't out there as much, that could help you guys out.
And Mitchell Robinson, I mean, he just needs to.
He needs to get all new ankles or something. He needs new ankles, new knees, a whole new lower body.
Frail. He's a little too frail.
It's like me going out there and playing as if I was like 7 foot. Like he gets hurt all the time. He needs something. But yeah, unfortunately, you guys are moving on. That was a great series. Knicks won game 1, 117-121. That was some controversial calls in that game towards the end of the game that did not favor the Pacers. An illegal screen by Miles Turner, a kickball that wasn't a kickball. And in game 2, you guys won 121-130. And in that game, that's when OG injured his hamstring within game 2.
Wasn't that game? I thought that was in game 34.
He injured it in game 2, and then he was out, obviously, game 3, 4, 5, 6.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
For tonight.
Yeah, that's right. Because I was actually watching that game. Yeah, you're right.
Because I think that's the same game that Brunson rolled his ankle, but he came back. And then in game 3, Indiana won 106-111. Game 4, Indiana won by 32, 89-121.
Yeah, we got blown out that game.
Yeah, but then New York in game 5 came back with a 30-point win of their own with a 91-121 win. And Indiana won game 6, 103-116. And then in game 6 or 7, that just happened, Indiana shoots 65% from the field. That's an NBA playoff record for a game.
Yeah.
That I can look at Tibbs because he's a defensive coach. 76% at the half, which is what they were shooting. And yeah, they finished with 65%.
Yeah, there's no excuse for that. I mean, that's just a combination of they couldn't miss, and the Knicks was just going down and couldn't defend.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Sometimes the team's on, and the Pacers were really on. They were executing very well, and there's sometimes nothing that you can do.
And you wouldn't think a team that was 1-4, 1-5 on the road would win against a team that was undefeated at home. But that's what happened.
I just want your outlook, because I think I did it with the Heat. Your outlook on the season that was the Knicks. I know that it just ended, but I want your opinion on it. I know it's very positive, but I just want your opinion on it.
Overall, I felt they had a great season. Especially with with all the injuries that the Knicks had suffered. You know, they had that mantra next man up. I mean, it literally was next man up. It just got to the point where there was no longer a next man up.
Like they're looking and they're like, "Oh, it's me." There's no one else.
I mean, overall, as a Knicks fan, I wish we was going to the Eastern Conference Finals, but I can't be mad because as far as we've gotten. With it's still a great plus. Oh, kiss my ass, Brian.
I'm not Pat Bev. Okay.
But yeah, like I said, I mean, I'm happy with the season we had. For the simple fact is, I mean, that team literally showed how much of a team they are. Most teams that in that situation, it just gave up.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm like, okay, we lost Randall, Mickey Robinson is out. You know, everybody's getting banged up and down. I mean, what's the point of we're not going to make it? They played their heart out, and Game 7, it just wasn't in the cards for them. But I mean, you still have players that was playing their heart out, injured or not, that was, trying to still will the team on. And the Pacers basically just had a better day.
And they were the healthier team.
Exactly.
I just want to give huge props to DiVincenzo. What a game he had. What a shooting performance he had. I think he went 9 for 14 from 3. He had 38 of 39 points. Well, like you said, put his heart in his all effort out there for his team. And he kept them in it for a while there. I mean, it could have been a lot worse of a game than what it was because they were, on the teetering of Like, keep getting blown out, but then JT Vincenzo hit some threes, and it got even closer. To start the third, it got down to 6 points. I was like, oh, here we go. Here comes New York. But that young Pacers team just had an answer for everything that you guys threw at them.
Yeah, when we got it down to 6, that's when Brunson fractured his hand.
Mm-hmm.
And the team didn't know he had fractured his hand until I think towards the start of the fourth quarter.
Yeah, like either start or like a little bit into that fourth quarter, because at least the Falcons asked Tibbs about why Jalen Brunson did the locker room, and Tibbs said, I don't know. And then there was a few minutes later that he said that he fractured his hand.
Yeah, so I mean, congratulations to the Pacers. I mean, they played it was a hell of a series.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said again, I mean, it looks like the Pacers and Knicks rivalry is back healthy again. We'll have to see how next season turns out, but overall, yeah, I mean, I can't be mad with the way the season turned out for the Knicks.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing you can really complain about other than just how it ended. That's it. And now, next series, Oklahoma City versus Dallas Mavericks. This is interesting. OKC won game 1, 95-117. Luka struggled in game 1 while dealing with an knee injury. He went 6 for 19, 1 for 8 from 3. In game 2, Mavs responded with a 119-110 win. Mavs won a nail-biter game 3, 101-105. OKC rallied back down from 14 in game 4 to win 196. Luka struggled once again in that game. Luka and the Mavs bounced back in game 5, 104-92, with Mavs leading that series 3-2. And Luka had a triple-double, 31 points, 10 rebounds, 11 assists. And I did not type down games, whatever, it was 6 or 5. I just missed it, I guess. Working a little bit too much there, Tony.
It happens to the best of us.
Missed it. I don't even remember the score of it. Let me see. Don't worry, I'm on it. Oh, that was. Oh yeah, it was 1 point win yesterday by the Thunder, 116-117. In game 6. The Dallas won series 4-2. I give a lot of credit to that young Thunder team first.
Yeah.
They did a lot better in this playoffs than I really did expect them to. And they have a bright young future ahead of them. So they'll be back. I know they'll, we all know they'll be back.
Yeah, I mean, for them to get the number 1 seed was shocking to begin with.
You got it. I'm going to turn on my light, guys.
Okay. Yeah, I was shocked with the number 1 seed that they got the number 1 seed. And especially for a young team like that, you wouldn't expect that.
No, they exceeded my expectations by a long shot. And then, they swept the Pelicans. And then they put up a good fight against a Dallas team that is a lot more improved than last season with Kyrie. Luka, again, who struggled at times in this series, very bad in this series. But then he stood up in those 2 last games, which is very important. PJ Washington, though, was I feel like they're man of the series. It was really, really good. He kept them in a lot of games. So I think he's actually finally found a home in this league after being traded away from Charlotte. So, this is a very interesting series. Again, OKC will be back in Dallas, going to the Western Conference Finals to face the winner of this very weird final series that we're going to talk about. This final series has been one of the strangest series I think I have seen in recent memory. And there's an incident that I want to talk with you about. I think you know what one it is in this series. But in game 1, Minnesota won 106-99. And then in game 2, this is where the interesting stuff happened. In the middle of getting their asses whooped at home, Jamal Murray threw a towel and a heating pad on the court aimed in the direction of official Mark Davis, and he was not suspended for game 3. He was only fined $100,000. Whipped. You want to see how much he's getting paid? That's a quarter, and that's it. That's how much he's getting paid. He plays a quarter and he makes it back.
Yeah, I have a slight issue with that.
And I thought you would, so you can go ahead.
He should have been suspended. I don't care how you look at it, he should have been suspended. For the fact that they did suspend him and they left him, put in game 3, says a lot. The hell? I had a screen pop up that I didn't expect to pop up.
You're good.
So, yeah, there should have been no reason why they didn't suspend him. I understand it's a playoff game, but throwing stuff onto the court, it doesn't matter if it's regular season or playoff. You're not allowed to do that. If I'm not mistaken, I believe that's an automatic suspension.
It could have been a technical. It could have been a technical, but no one saw him through it. So he already got away with that. My big issue is it could have caused injuries to either Karl-Anthony Towns, who almost stepped on it, or his own teammate Reggie Jackson, who ended up kicking it by accident.
Yeah.
Because Reggie Jackson kicked it, and then Towns almost stepped on it, and then that's when KCD picked it up and threw out of bounds. The disregard for anyone else on that court just showed he was only in it to voice his own frustration with how that game was going.
I mean, I didn't say to get frustrated, but I mean, there's certain things you just don't do. And throwing stuff onto the court that potentially almost injured 2 players, one of your own team, one of the other team, is unacceptable. And I'm sure the NBA looked at the film and seen it was him. And the fact that they didn't suspend him is still questionable as to why they didn't suspend him.
Yeah, I'm saying in the game, the officials did not see who threw the heating pad or the towel. So that's
understandable.
That's something that they can go back and look at. But yes, the league looked at it, and that's why they gave him $100,000 fine. Excuse me. So that's going to set an example of, all right, other players that they can do that, and they're not going to get suspended for it.
That's basically what it says. That's a sign of sins.
And Adam Silver, he had a chance to set an example, and he didn't. Whereas I saw a lot of news or ESPN people, David Stern, you would have known the second that heating pad hit the ground, Whoever did it is getting suspended. There would have
Exactly.
been no doubt. But with Adam Silver, we had to see what was going on. And another thing is, I don't like that he was not suspended because if a fan threw anything on the court, if a fan threw anything on that court,
That
they
thing
are
have been escorted out.
banned, escorted out. So many things happened to him. But since Jamal Murray is privileged enough to be in the NBA, he threw two things on the ground. He only got $100,000.
Well, that just goes to show that Adam Silver is the players commissioner, whereas David Stern wasn't a players commissioner.
And, that just leads into more of, is the NBA quote-unquote rigged? Because if it wasn't, he would have been suspended. The Wolves would have won Game 3. In my opinion, they would have won Game 3 if Murray was suspended. And then it would have been Game 4 that quick. And the Timberwolves would have been up 3-0.
I'm going to stay away from the fact that people think the NBA is rigged. Because
No, I'm not saying that it is, but it that puts fuel on the fire of people thinking that it is.
Which I understand. I mean, we go through it with football season. Where shit happens on the season, and we start questioning, is the NFL rigged? Every time something happens and that people don't agree with, that's the first thing that comes out of everybody. We think it's rigged. Let's be realistic. The NBA has different rules and guidelines for regular season and postseason. They've shown that pretty much already. A fine for that versus getting suspended how many games for making money gesture towards the ref.
I don't know if you saw that as well, but so he did this at the ref. He did that.
Yeah, that doesn't help. That definitely doesn't help.
Whereas earlier in the season, Rudy Gobert made the same gesture to a ref and got fined $100,000. So, all right, money sign adds up. All right, that's $100,000. But then, technically, the throwing up the towel and heating pad was nothing.
But like I said, the league has different rules for the regular season and playoff seasons. Should it be like that? No. It should be the same sort of rules. It doesn't matter if you're in the playoffs or not. Certain rules that happens that is applied during the regular season is applied during the regular season. Will it hurt a team? Well, that's the only way you can get the player to learn. And sometimes the player doesn't look at Draymond Green. Look how many times he cost his team a championship because he does stupid shit in the regular season and in the playoffs. So some players, that's just how they are. They just don't care. It's all about them and not the team. So for the league to have different set of rules, it makes it confusing, and it puts fuel on the fire to why people think professional sports is rigged. Because you're not consistent. Now, granted, yes, officials are human. They will make mistakes. Everybody will make mistakes. We could be officiating again and we'll make a mistake. But you need to be more consistent. You can't say, okay, you can get fined for this, but we're not going to fine you for this if you do it in the playoffs. No, if they fine them, fine them. If they suspend them. No matter what, no matter if it's regular season or playoffs. I know they try to keep, do it for TV ratings, to keep the revenue going, which comes back to, again, people think that's why they think it's rigged.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, I mean, as a sports fan, it is frustrating because there is times when I look at it and I'm like, wow, they did not just see that. They're just gonna let that go. Like, I mean, it was clear as day. So I mean, I understand why it raises questions, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, take you on a rant, a little bit of a rant on the rig there, Tony. I didn't mean to start that one, but but no, like, because with how Minnesota was playing, like, that's why I say that this series is so confusing. Because, all right, Game 3, Murray is not suspended, and Denver wins Game 3 in Minnesota 117-90. And then in Game 4 in Minnesota, they win 115-107. And then in Game 5, Jokic goes off for 40.7 rebounds and 13 assists. That could get Denver a 2 series lead to win 97-112. And then out of fucking nowhere, in Game 6, Minnesota dismantled Denver with a 45-point win in Minnesota. 70-115. They were up by 50 points at one point to force this Game 7 that's happening right now.
Yeah.
This
I don't know.
No sense at all.
Yeah, that I have no explanation for that one.
45-point win.
Yeah, it's like a team forgot to show up for the game.
Mm-hmm. But the big question, who do you have win this Game 7? I would like to see Minnesota. I think Minnesota Dallas would be very fun in the Eastern or the Western Conference Finals.
I gotta agree with that too. I would like to see Minnesota.
Like, I don't have a problem with Denver. I don't have a single problem with Denver. But just excitement factor, I want to see Minnesota in there with Anthony Edwards in the Western Conference Finals. But hopefully it's a close game. It's not a fucking 50-point blowout.
Actually, that game just started, didn't it?
Yeah. 8 o'clock, it just started.
Yeah, right now still 0-0.
With a minute gone in the first quarter. Alright, to end, I just want to say about some NFL signings. I only did any big names that were signed recently-ish. OBJ is on a 1-year, $8.25 million deal with the Miami Dolphins. How do you feel about that? Does that boost the Dolphins at all, or no, not really?
What was that? I'm sorry.
Sorry. Odell Beckham Jr., he signed a 1-year, $8.25 million contract with the Dolphins. Does that boost them at all, or kind of just leaves them the same?
I think it kind of leaves them the same. It may be a slight boost, but I don't see nothing spectacular.
If he stays healthy.
You still got Tyreek Hill and Jason Waddle.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, they're going to take a majority of the receptions anyway. I mean, what he's going to do, play the slots position?
I mean, just to have him there. That's another weapon.
Will it help Hill and Waddle? Possibly. It could possibly help them do a little less double coverage. But overall, I don't see it doing too much.
I got a funny one. Dallas signed Zeke Elliott So Ezekiel Elliott is back with the Dallas Cowboys. And lastly, Kansas City re-signed tight end Travis Kelce to a huge 2-year, $34.25 million deal. So Travis Kelce staying with the Chiefs, a big contract.
That was expected.
Which he's earned as well. He's earned now.
Yeah, that was expected. I mean, nobody's seeing Kelce going anywhere else.
No, I can't even see him in another uniform. I mean, it was he goes back with the Chiefs or he retires. That was
exactly
the only deal. But yeah, I just wanted to mention those important kind of signing. Even though we're not in football season anymore, just wanted to mention it.
Well, we're getting close.
Yeah, again, we are getting close. You know, NFL draft that we didn't even talk about at all, but that's fine. Oh no, we did. We
did.
Don't worry, I'll get my memory back in a little bit of what we talked about.
So, you got anything else?
No, I got nothing else. I'm good.
All right, folks. Well, that concludes our podcast for the day. If you're on YouTube, or if you're watching on our YouTube channel, make sure you hit that subscribe and hit the bell button so you know when we're going live. For those of you who are watching on Facebook, thank you very much. And we actually was streaming live on Twitch today.
Wow. Hold on, let me go to Twitch real quick. Same name?
Yep.
Okay.
It's with underscore though. On Twitch is _DropZone _podcast.
Okay. I'm gonna pass one.
See you later, Brian. Love you too, buddy. Thanks for joining in.
Well, I got a verification code on everything, which is okay. Right, so what is it? The _DropZone?
Yeah, _podcast.
There we go. Got it. All right. Got it.
Sweet.
So, a little bit. I gotta get a haircut now. That's the next for the summer. I gotta get it I gotta get a haircut now.
Yeah, I gotta agree. We need the beard back.
What? You don't like you with no beard?
No. You look way better with the beard.
But it's warm, Tony. I don't want a beard when it's warm.
Hey, I got it.
Okay, but you're you. I don't. I'm me. I didn't like it.
It's all good, buddy. So once again, like I said, follow us on Twitch. Join our Facebook group page is the DropZone Podcast. Search us on YouTube. Once again, it's the DropZone Podcast. We're pretty much the first one that pops up. Remember to hit the subscribe and hit the bell icon so you know when we're going live. For Big Time Tony and Dope Ass Jeff, we want to say thank you, everybody. We love you all. Have a good night.
Yep. Make sure to come back next week so we can all meet Patrick.
That's right. Patrick will be with us next week, hopefully.
Yep.
All right. Good night, everybody.
Bye, guys. See you next week.